I've been selling my soul, working all day.
It was the song that stopped us in our tracks, a voice that felt like it came straight from the hearts of people frustrated with the system. When Oliver Anthony sang those words, it wasn't just music, it was a cultural moment that rippled across the nation.
Oliver Anthony.
Men North of Richmond.
The working man's ballad.
It is the year's least likely #1 single.
Oliver Anthony is his name.
But what happened next? And now he's starting a traveling ministry?
I don't even need to exist within the space of music. I'm looking at switching my whole business over to a traveling ministry.
It's been over a year since that viral moment, so what the heck happened?
'Cause the Richmond, North of Richmond.
Born Christopher Anthony Lunsford in Richmond, Virginia, Oliver Anthony adopted his stage name as a tribute to his grandfather. While the world now knows him as Oliver, his friends and family still call him Chris. Growing up, Oliver described his family as being right on the line of lower middle class, a background that gave him first-hand insight into the struggles of working class America. In 2010, at just 17 years old, he dropped out of high school but earned his GED in Spruce Pine, North Carolina, and then he began working grueling jobs in western North Carolina, including third-shift plant work at a paper mill in McDowell County. Earning $14.50 an hour for 6 days a week, he described it as a living hell. In 2013, a workplace accident left him with a fractured skull and forced him to return to Virginia, where he endured a slow and painful recovery, spending 6 months unable to work. By 2014, he started a career in outside sales for industrial manufacturing, traveling across Virginia and the Carolinas. Over the next decade, he visited countless factories and job sites, meeting hundreds of blue-collar workers who shared stories of frustration and neglect. These experiences would serve as the backbone for his music. In 2019, he purchased a small property in Virginia for around $97,000 and moved into a 27-foot camper he bought off Craigslist for $750. Living simply with a tarp on the roof of his camper, Oliver began channeling his frustrations, faith, and observations into raw, unfiltered songs. Little did he know this backdrop and the quiet woods around him would be the setting for many of his first written songs that would change his life. By 2020, he was releasing covers and songs on his YouTube channel independently, like covers of Tyler Childers' Lady May.
I'm baptized in your name, lovely Lady May.
And his song Rich Man's Gold that would later be on his studio album.
Good and warm in the hole, don't need that rich man's gold.
He also had a decent amount of fans around this time too, sending him encouraging videos, saying how much they liked his music. And then one song changed everything. This is where the real story begins. Men North of Richmond didn't just come out of nowhere. As I mentioned, Oliver Anthony had been releasing music on YouTube for nearly 3 years before that viral moment. Even though people might call him an overnight success, he had been quietly building his voice, sharing raw, honest songs that resonated with the people around him. But as we all know, timing is everything, and what he needed was the right platform, the right message, and most importantly, the right moment. And when those pieces finally aligned in August of 2023, thanks to Radio WV, it was like a spark that ignited an explosion.
Tomorrow, on Tuesday, Radio WV is going to upload the debut of Men North of Richmond. And it's going to be the first song to get out there that's been recorded on a real microphone and a real camera, and not just on my cell phone. And Lord willing, it's going to get some traffic, and maybe at least a few of you are going to drift your way over here. And I don't care where you are or what you've done, where you think your life's heading. Everything can change in a moment.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you.
What happened next was unlike anything Oliver could ever imagine. In just a matter of days, his video got over 5 million views. The message hit home for so many people, especially those feeling unheard, frustrated with the system, and fed up with the way things were going down in DC and the ruling elite, but also for the epidemic of mental health, human trafficking. Suddenly, Oliver Anthony wasn't just a local musician. He was the voice of the people, whether he liked it or not.
Selling my soul, working all day.
People from all walks of life were sharing it, reacting to it, and discussing its raw, unfiltered truth. Richmond North of Richmond wasn't just another protest song. It was an anthem for anyone feeling like their voices were lost in the noise, the working class, the ignored, the frustrated. Suddenly they had a song that felt like it spoke directly to them.
Cause the Richmond, North of Richmond.
It's August 25th, 2023. A lot's changed since the last time I sat here and spoke to you.
Oliver's lyrics weren't just about the problems. He gave a voice to the voiceless, calling out the divide between the everyday person and those in power. The song didn't just stay on social media. News outlets picked it up, radio stations started playing it, and it even caught the attention of politicians, which was kind of funny because that's who the song was really talking about.
The event also opened up with a nod to a breakout country song from Virginia.
We must reverse Bidenomics so that middle-class families have a chance to succeed again.
You know, like, it was funny seeing my song it was funny seeing it at the presidential debate. Because it's like, I wrote that song about those people, you know? So for them to have to sit there and listen to that cracks me up.
A lot of people praise the song as speaking the cold hard truth, while others ripped them apart from the lyrics, especially the welfare comment.
Taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds.
I can't speak for Oliver personally, but I feel like this wasn't really just about one side or the other. It was really just his frustration with the country and where it is today. I'm not here to take sides, but just reporting on what it was really like back in August of 2023. But one thing was clear, this song was unavoidable, and it only continued to grow, and it changed Oliver's life forever. For Oliver, the success was overwhelming. Next, he was doing interviews with none other than Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson. He admitted that he never really expected this kind of response. One moment, he was a guy recording songs at his property in the woods, and next, his name was on everyone's lips. But he knew that this moment wasn't about him. It was about the people who found truth in the lyrics. But with the attention, it also brought enticing deals. With the attention became enormous pressure and opportunities. Major record labels, some of the biggest names in the industry, came knocking. One offer in particular made headlines, an $8 million record deal. For most musicians, that kind of money would be life-changing. But Oliver Anthony wasn't like most musicians. He turned it down, walking away from what others would see as an opportunity of a lifetime. Why? Because he didn't want to compromise the authenticity that had brought him this far. In his own words, he wasn't interested in becoming a cog in the industry machine. He didn't want to be molded into something he wasn't or lose the raw, unfiltered connection he had with his audience. For him, it wasn't about the fame or the fortune. It was about staying true to his roots and his message. This decision only added to his mystery. I mean, who turns down $8 million?
So I wanted to be open and honest about what I'm doing. Back at the very beginning, I said that I wouldn't sign a record deal. And some time has went on, and I realized that I need to make a decision for me and my family. And so I just want you to know that this guy is really trustworthy. He's one of the biggest in the business.
To his fans, it was proof that Oliver was the real deal, the man who refused to sell out even when faced with life-changing wealth. And while the industry may have struggled to understand his choices, his fans rallied around him even more. But staying independent didn't mean doing everything alone. In September of 2023, Oliver shared that he had hired 2 booking agents to help him with his 2024 tour. He made it clear though that there was no major industry deal and no contracts, just a verbal agreement to handle the logistics of performances professionally and safely. He emphasized that there was no amount of money worth risking the direct line of communication he had with his audience. It's proof that authenticity can resonate louder than any corporate machine. And while he's likely earning a strong income through streaming, YouTube ad revenue, and his live shows, his refusal to sell out cemented his reputation as an artist who sticks to his guns. But staying independent didn't mean slowing down. By the end of 2023, Oliver had yet reached another milestone, one that a humble boy from Virginia could have never imagined growing up. On December 4th, he made his grand Ole Opry debut, standing on the stage where legends before him had stood. Oliver performed while the world was still buzzing from Richmond North of Richmond. It was a moment that cemented his place not in just music history, but in the hearts of fans who saw him as a voice of something bigger.
It was 100% fans that got me here. Like, there wasn't a label or a company. The push I got to get me here was people. It was organic, and so like I have to make sure that every move I make
in the next year respects that.
And as 2024 began, Oliver was gearing up for something even more extraordinary. This year would be a game changer. The Out of the Woods tour. His first official tour kicked off, and it didn't just span across America. It started in Europe, taking him across the pond to places like Scotland and England, where people found a surprising connection to his music. Themes of struggle, frustration, and hope, the Out of the Woods tour was more than just a string of concerts. It was a foundation. Over the course of a year, Oliver would crisscross continents, playing shows from quiet countryside towns to bustling American cities. And yet, even with all of this success, 2024 was a year of balance for Oliver. When he wasn't on stage, he was back home spending time on his land, enjoying the peace and being with his pups, staying grounded in the simple life that inspired his songs. But arguably his biggest highlight of the year came in March, when Oliver released his first professionally recorded album. Fans who had followed him since the viral Men North of Richmond days were eager to hear how his raw and polished sound that they loved would translate into a full studio project. Hymnal of a Troubled Man's Mind feels like a big step forward for Oliver. It's like taking his earlier songs, ones that we've already fallen in love with, and giving them a fresh coat of paint. This time they're polished and professionally recorded. His team brought in Dave Cobb, and you can already tell that they made magic in the studio. The album dives deep into Oliver's usual themes, frustration with the government, society, and the struggles of everyday people. But it also takes on personal battles of addiction and mental health. What really stands out though is how he sprinkles in Bible verses, and it adds a layer of hope and wisdom.
Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless.
If you've ever seen him live or caught his debut at the Opry, you've probably noticed he's done this before, but hearing it on the album makes it feel even more personal. The opener to the album, Richmond's Gold, feels like it just belongs in some kind of movie scene, like the introduction to a movie. It gives me goosebumps personally, and it probably is my favorite off the record.
Mama died when he was 4. What a damn shame.
It sets the tone for the whole album. Oliver sings about how you don't really need to chase after wealth to find happiness. It feels like it could be a soundtrack to a powerful movie scene. This whole album has this raw and simple vibe, just the basics, guitar, fiddle, and strings. It's exactly what you'd expect from Anthony, but this time it sounds like it was recorded in a studio, not on a phone in the woods. Then there's Cobwebs and Cocaine. This one hits hard.
My brain, I'm a shovel letting coal on the midnight train.
It's about drug addiction and how it just tears people apart. Oliver's delivery is gripping, and the way he yells the lyrics is full of raw emotion. The song's haunting vibe, paired with its strings and chord progression, feels pretty close to Nirvana's Where Did You Sleep Last Night from their Unplugged session. Let me know if you think this is similar too.
My damn old dog done ran away. Couldn't stand my girl don't lie.
Another standout that I like is I've Got to Get Sober. It's raw and real with the chorus that'll get stuck in your head, and when Oliver sings So Pour 'Em Down Strong, you can feel the weight of his struggles, and yet it's so catchy, and you can't help but hum along.
So pour 'em down strong until I drown.
The only brand new track on the album is Mama's Been Hurting. This one hasn't been released anywhere before, so it was a real treat for fans.
Never there's been hard times, it's always made hard folks who could get it.
But he's been very active on social media this fall, releasing multiple videos and updates about him, and there was a lot to unpack. Beyond the music, he's focusing on a deeply personal mission to help out struggling communities through his Rural Revival project.
And so I've taken the money that I've made from Richmond and I've started buying properties in West Virginia. I bought some abandoned farms in Virginia that I'm in the process of revitalizing.
This project isn't just about restoring abandoned farms in Virginia or his new property in West Virginia. It's about creating spaces for people to heal and reconnect with life's basics.
I plan to turn these farms into places that people can go and learn how to can food, can learn how to raise animals. People who have just gotten out of rehab vets with PTSD, people who are depressed and suicidal, they can come here and get reconnected with nature. They can learn how to exist outside of a system that's been sort of placed on us as a generation.
Oliver also stated that since people just kind of have to guess where he stands politically, he said he'll just come out and say it. He says, hey, I'm a conservative. I believe in the First and Second Amendment. I don't know if I'm a Republican necessarily or what the heck I am.
I am a conservative because I believe in the First and Second Amendment, but I don't know if I'm necessarily a Republican or what the hell I am. I'm just somebody who thinks that the whole way we live is so ass backwards and so stupid, and it serves no one but people at the top of a hierarchy that we no longer really need to serve.
To me, honestly, I don't really care too much about the politics, you know, I'm just here for the music, even though it's kind of ironic since I'm doing an Oliver Anthony video, so it's whatever. But his vision doesn't stop there in his recent videos. Oliver revealed that his plans was to leave the traditional music industry altogether. He said, I'm in the process of getting out of the music industry. It's a big joke. The plan is to eventually change my entire focus to traveling ministry work. It's all a part of this rural revival thing. I just have to go at it in the baby steps since it's completely DIY. No, I'll still be releasing music just like normal, but I'll be set up legally as a ministry. He's also rethinking on how live music should really be experienced. We can do it on local farms, down Main Street, and give local vendors and local musicians a chance to be heard. Through his rural revival project and unique approach to touring, Oliver hopes to bring live music to towns that rarely see it, while giving local vendors, artists, and small towns a boost. These announcements show Oliver's bold determination to break away from the traditional music industry and focus on a greater mission, one that combines his faith, music, and a desire to rebuild struggling communities. It's not just a career change, it's a grassroots movement for something much bigger. This might be more of a long-term approach though, as Oliver still has some major tour dates lined up for early 2025, including shows in Europe and Australia, but it's possible that in the future, countries outside the US could see their own versions of the project, adapting to their own communities. So it seems like his upcoming tour could be a mix of traditional performances and those that align with the Rural Revival Project. He already did his first one in Morgantown, West Virginia, and partnered with Radio WV as they gave away profits for hurricane relief. But that's my take on what is kind of going on. You guys might not even know more than me, so drop in the comments below on what you guys think he's gonna do and what his future plans are. It's also hard to not mention the whole Oliver Anthony and Parker McCollum fiasco thing. Basically, Oliver said, hey, there was a musician after me at this festival and he was using a bunch of autotune and backtracking vocals and all this stuff. And on social media, people believed it was Parker McCollum, and I thought this whole thing kind of just got out of proportion anyway. To be fair, Oliver never said Parker's name.
Like, I never forget, I won't say who the act is, but it was I think it was in South Carolina at the Myrtle Beach one, the band who played after us. That dude had 6 Autotune modulators on a pedal board on stage, just to help him with vocal pitch live. And they had backing tracks running, drum loops running. It's like,
but Parker did reply, and this is what he said.
100% fabricated lie. Never, ever, ever one time have I used auto-tune or a drum loop or anything fake of any kind on stage. Me and my guys are ripping it the real deal every single night. It has never been one single part of our show, not one note. That is 100% a lie, and that will never change. We will always be out there really swinging it as a real band, trying to do our best to respect country music.
Personally, I have respect for both musicians. I don't necessarily am with one or the other. It's just kind of everyone is talking about it, so I thought I'd bring that up. So it's been over a year. Oliver Anthony's journey has become nothing short of extraordinary. From the quiet woods of Virginia to the world stage, his music has touched the hearts of millions and offering a message of authenticity in a world that's often anything but that. Whether he's taking the stage at the Grand Ole Opry or just chilling in the woods, one thing remains clear. Oliver isn't just a musician. He's just a dude that stays true to himself between fame, pressure, and the opportunities. And as we look ahead with plans of a traveling ministry, it's clear that this is just the beginning. Oliver Anthony's story is still unfolding and the world is watching, waiting for what's next. And maybe a new album soon?
I've got at least 12 songs that I could stick on an album, and that I will stick on another album.
But no matter where the journey takes him, Oliver Anthony will always be a man who turned a viral moment into a movement and a voice for a generation looking for truth and something real. But before we end today's video, I want to share a local musician from West Virginia, and I think he's been killing it lately. And no one paid me to do this at all. I just think his music is top notch and he's going to be big. So here he is. His name's Nathan Bess. Check him out here.
out the plan. Don't worry, take my hand. You and me can settle. Promise to catch you if you ever fall.
I linked his music in the description below, but that's all I have for today. I will see you in my next video. Take care.